Okay, here's Vonda's computer. So now Vonda can see. Now she put her contact lenses in. So now she can see her computer screen. Okay.
So let me
Renee,
ask you, Tom, Rob, real quick, sorry, before I get started, to find all of these recordings that you're doing, I think I just found them. They're all on Facebook. Is that correct?
Well, no, yes and no. It depends on which one. We have the recordings for this particular, let me move my phone over here so it doesn't pop up on the screen again. So these recordings are on a page. We'll get that out. It's getting organized better. So no. So kind of, yes, kind of. They're on Facebook, but we have a web page that's dedicated to each topic. So like this one is time management. So if you go to the time management page, I'll show you what it looks like. So that looks like this. And then you scroll down, and then each lesson has the recording.
Right. Okay.
So today we're on session 3. So, and then if you go down to the resources, the recordings are there as well. So that's kind of how we're doing it. But they're recorded on YouTube and then placed on the page that they go to. Because on the particular page, so when you go to this page, it's got the resources, right? The homework, the assignments, you know, your assignments written down, and then things like that. So. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, so let's get going here, boys and girls. So we got a light crowd, like I said. It's 8:03. Time management, session 3. Today's topic is delegate. So, but I like the slide that Debbie found, and then, of course, I stretch it out to make it fit the width of the screen. So that's not an oblong cup of coffee. That's just a stretched image. So, but simply, I love the rest of what it says. Simplify, eliminate. I love that. I mean, because that's part of delegation. And automate, right? So always keep it simple. Always keep it simple. And then anything you can automate, you should, right? Now, sometimes automating things, you know, takes a while to get that done, but that's okay. But then delegate. Let's talk about that a little more, right? So let's get to the next slide. First, you got to do what counts, right? And what counts is income-generating activities, right? That's what counts the most, right? So it's the 80-20 rule. So 80% of what you do should be generating business, right? So if you want to write these down, I'll give you some things to write down about the 4 things. Let's see, 4 things a real estate agent should do, okay? Number 1, lead generate, okay? Number 1, out of the 4 things a real estate agent should do, number 1, lead generate, okay? Number 2 of the 4 things a real estate agent should do is to lead follow-up, right? So think about that. 50% of what you're supposed to do is leads, generate, and lead follow-up. So number 3 is go on appointments. And that's a listing appointment to take a listing. Number 2, it's a buyer listing appointment, right, where you meet with a buyer and get a buyer agency contract signed. And number 3 is to show houses, right? Those are the 3 appointments. So, or ABC, I guess, when you're doing a bullet point that way. So, but the 4th, and then the 4th thing that as a real estate agent you should do is negotiate contracts. So between you and a seller, or, you know, you and a client, or between the buyer and the seller. Everything else, you know, your goal is to get everything else delegated out, right? You shouldn't be doing the rest. The administrative task should be done by someone else. Now, obviously, you know, if you're starting out or your business isn't where it needs to be, you can't afford an assistant. I understand that. But do remember, here at Aubrey & Associates Realty, we have an in-house transaction coordinator that you can hire that will do your transaction paperwork. Go out, get a listing signed, turn it over to the transaction coordinator, and then you're done. Go out and look for another listing. The transaction coordinator will, make sure if anything's missing, they'll collect it. If, they'll order your photos for you, they'll order your sign, they'll order your title work, all that. So, you don't have to screw around with any of that. And they'll get it published in the MLS for you. So, then when it goes under contract, so that's all handled for you, right? Then you get an offer, you negotiate the contract between the buyer and the seller. And then once it's under contract, then you turn around and hand it off to the transaction coordinator again. You got it? That's how, that way there, your only job is you're only doing what you're supposed to be doing, right? Is lead generate, lead follow up, go on appointments, right? So if you take that listing, that's how it goes, right? So you got lead generate is you got you set an appointment, or lead generate. You got a lead follow up. You set the appointment. You go on the appointment number 3, negotiate the contract number 4, and now Amy's on the call. Amy is our in-house transaction coordinator. You know who else loves you using a transaction coordinator? The office, because your paperwork's better. So it actually saves us time. But and so Amy has a link. In fact, I'll find that link while we're talking. And there's a link on our website that talks about our services or her services. And so and the fee for that is $225, and the company does not make any money on that. So most brokerages, when you have a transaction coordinator, they actually increase the fees to cover the so the broker can make money. I'm not interested in making money on the transaction coordinating. It's just not where I make money. So like Debbie said, best money you'll spend. So there's the link, right, that shows you all the services that are provided for $225. Now, when I coach agents and I tell them you got to hire somebody, you know what they usually say? When I start doing more deals, then I'll hire somebody. No, it's the other way around. When you hire somebody to take that load off your plate, you'll actually start to do more deals because you're starting to think like someone that's in business, right? Rather than think like a self-employed person that's got to do everything. You don't have to do everything. You just have to make sure everything gets done, but you do not have to do everything. Make sense? Any thoughts, questions here? Okay, so all right, let's get to the next point, right? So getting others to do things. Well, we're just talking about that. So the other thing is to do, one of the things I did when I was an agent prospecting every day was, and I don't prospect every day now just because, obviously, I'm teaching some days, that kind of stuff. And, but I do prospect a couple times a week. So, but when I was an agent prospecting every day, Monday through Friday, I started at 8 a.m. and went till 10:30. And so I practice real-time voicemail. And what I would do is I would change my message every day, and it would say, hey, it's Thursday. It's Rob Aubrey. Today's Thursday, June 27th. I am in the office. However, I won't be available till approximately 11 a.m. So leave your name and number, and I'll get back to you then, right? And so what that would do, and how that relates to the point, getting others to do things. So let's say you had a buyer, or like if a seller called you, and then they had a question that the transaction coordinator could actually handle. They would call and get your voicemail and go, oh, crap, he's not going to call me back for 2.5 hours. I'm just going to call the next person. And then the next person handles it. Same thing with a buyer calls you up with a question that more than likely the loan officer could handle, right? So they would hang up, they would call the lender, and then get it all handled. And then 11 o'clock, 10:45, whatever, you start returning calls. You're getting others to do things, right? if you need to deliver a package. You know how you can get a package delivered? Let's say you set an appointment this morning, to go take for a listing appointment at 6 o'clock this evening. You could have Uber deliver a package for you, deliver a pre-list package to the door. It might cost you $15, right? So, that's it. How simple is that? Uber is a very inexpensive delivery service. So, think about that. So just get others to do things. You don't have to stop and run to go deliver a pre-list package for $15. Somebody else could do it for you. That's very inexpensive. That's getting others to do things for you. You got it? So, it's all about leveraging time, right? So what's the quote that we have on the website there? Let's see. Give me a lever long enough and a fulcrum on which to place it, and I shall move the world. Right? So think about that. If the lever's big enough, you can lift the earth, right? So what that means is using other people to get things done. Now, when, let's say you reach the point to hire a full-time administrator of your own, then when the first time I ever hired a full-time admin years ago, at first I was like, gosh, I don't have enough things to do. And so they were just doing some of the things that I was doing. But what I learned was that they were able to do things, I was able to have more things done, right? I was able to get a lot more things done. And so, and that's what it was all about. Not just me doing all the work, but getting other people to, actually adding more stuff to it, right? So listen to, so under the word customer service, right? So there is a direct correlation between the income we receive and the level of service we offer. If you want to improve your income, improve the service. So that's what happens when you hire somebody full time, right? It's pretty awesome. So, eventually you get there. I know it doesn't, right away, everybody can do it. So, so Deb put a note up there, have your transaction coordinator's number listed on your voicemail so routine questions can be handled that way, right? If this is about a file and process, please call Amy at blah, 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 right? So things like that, you want to do. And then you start training your clients that way. And so, and if it's just simple stuff. So, obviously Amy's not there to handle, you don't forward your phone calls to her, as an agent, not for, for $225. It doesn't work that way. But you get the picture, right? So, any thoughts or questions so far on getting others to do things? So, let's see. All right, assignment, right? Let's look at what the assignment is. Let me get to our page for that, right? So, our assignment for today is write down the things you can have someone else do that will not lower the level of service you're providing your clients, right? Because that's the biggest fear agents have, right, is, well, my clients want me to do it. They want my level of service. Well, I'm here to tell you, there's very, 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 very few agents that I know of that are going to provide the level of paperwork service that a transaction coordinator will. Let's be frank. Agents suck at paperwork, right? So take it off your desk. Get someone else to do it. But besides that, you could be back on the phones, right? Go get a listing sign, and then, take it and then hand it off to somebody. You're done. It's like being in a boat fishing. You get one on the hook, flip it into the boat, turn it, give it to somebody else, they start cleaning. You're back fishing. If you stopped and cleaned the fish, well, then the fish could stop biting when the next time you go back. You can get more fish by just being a fisher person rather than being the fisher person, the cleaning person, blah, 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 right? So that's your assignment, right? Is to do that, is to get, is to write down stuff. So I forgot to ask, I forgot to ask how your assignments from yesterday went. So, well, let's see what yesterday's assignment. Write down what distracts you and right? Write down what distractions you are having to create the habit of your new schedule. So I was talking to one person this morning, they checked their email, right? And then, next thing you know, so my comment was, yeah, you check your email. Next thing you know, you're on Facebook. Next thing you know, it's Friday, right? Nothing got done. So hopefully you all went through the exercise of writing down what's distracting you, right? So what was the other assignment? What do you call it? What do we call that? The hour of where you write down every hour what you're doing. At the end of each hour, write it down. So here's one on the resources here. I have a thing that says no job is too small to subcontract, right? Leveraging people is the key to getting lots more accomplished, right? So you're never going to grow. You could do 4 or 5 deals a year without help, yeah. But like I said, from the very, very beginning, if your goal was to do 4 or 5 deals, then this series is not for you. You don't need a plan. You don't need a schedule. You don't need time management. When you have no time management, 4 or 5 deals is the result, right? So think about that. So, write down what's just, if you haven't done yesterday's assignment, do it, and then also do today's assignment. Write down the things you're going to have someone else to do for you. And we went through most of them as an agent. And then also, in our office here at Aubrey & Associates, we also have the in-house direct mail marketing. So if you were to hire a full-time administrator, what would they do? They would be doing a lot of your marketing or, other than the calls, and they would be doing your transactions. Well, we have a built-in system here in our company that we can help you do some of the heavy lifting of your direct mail marketing, and we have a transaction coordinator to take some of that off your plate. So so we're providing that for you so that you can grow into, but you shouldn't really hire a full-time person until you're about 40 deals, maybe 30 deals, 40 deals. So, once you reach that level, then you can hire a full-time person. But in the meantime, we have the ability or the systems in place for you to grow into that. Because the hardest part is when you're at 20 and you're not very organized, and now it's hard to grow because it's hard for you to do the paperwork and the transaction coordinating and work with the clients, right? Do the negotiations, take buyers out and show houses, all that kind of stuff, and then generate more leads while you're at it. Well, that's a very challenging when you reach that middle level where you think, I need a full-time assistant. I'm like, no, you're not there yet. So what we've put in the systems in place, and that was designed as a company before I even opened the company, that I said, we're going to have those systems in place, for the agent, what I call the middle class agent that's trying to get to the upper class agent. The hardest part is being, it's easier to go from, 20 to 100 than it is, from, 0 to 20 or 0 to 30. Because once you have revenue, or I should say 30 to 100, because once you have revenue, then you can leverage yourself. But we put the leverage systems in place for you to help you grow to the next level. Does that make sense? So I put that link in there. And Debbie, would you put at the end of the call, would you put the transaction coordinating link on the resource page? Already done, right? So already done. So how many people listened to on this call the schedule equals freedom that's on the website? That was at the end of number 1's call. How many people listened to that one?
I did.
You did? What were your thoughts?
Very informative, very educational.
Right.
Enjoyed it.
Yeah, JC said, I remember JC said, I was taking a lot of notes. So, I mean, something I learned from my coach, when you listen to something, you write down a lot of notes, what to do in a near future, don't wait forever, is to take your notes and then rewrite them. Don't re-listen to it. Just take your notes, right, and then write them down. And then rewrite them out. Because what happens when you rewrite them is you can pause, right? You read what you wrote down, and then you say, and if sometimes you're like me, it's like, what the heck did I mean there? So, but anyway, if your notes are concise enough, you can say, and then you can pause and relive what went through your mind. Because when you're listening and writing, you really don't get a chance to stop and really actually listen to what's going on. So when you rewrite the notes, it may take you a little longer than the first time, but that's okay. This is about education, okay? This is about learning. This is about growing. This is about developing your dreams and your goals and reaching those, right? Remember the quote that when you resist your schedule, you resist your goals, your dreams, your vision. So don't resist this. So Debbie just posted, so there's the site, there's the link, right? And we'll send out emails to get everybody kind of trained on this, and we'll figure out, we'll get it on, we're redoing the website, the design, not the content, we're just going to rearrange it. But we'll make sure that when you log into the main site, that these series are, kind of front and center where you'll be able to find them and get there. So anyway, so we're running out of time. Anybody have any thoughts or questions? No? So if not, we end the calls at 8:25. Remember, role plays at 8:30. So this is designed to, run to the bathroom real quick, return a phone call if you have to. But get on the call at 8:30. It seems like everybody's flying in like 5 minutes late on that. I'm like, okay, it's a 5-minute break, not a 10-minute break. So, but let's get you on the next call. Remember, so we left off Tuesday we did the 1-minute listing presentation. Today we're going to do the what's called the 5-minute presentation, where we go into the next phase of the listing presentation. And then I got all those. I have all those scripts. If you don't have a script book, we'll get you one. We'll post it. We'll get. Crap. Let me find that link. I don't have time. All right. We'll make sure you have the script. We'll get that out today. I keep saying that, and I keep forgetting. So anyway, that's the end of the call for now. So I will see you guys at 8:30 on the role play.
Thank you.